Let's look at multiplying and dividing radical expressions. We've done this before when we've got the same root. Both of these are cube roots, the cube root of 6 times the cube root of 12. Well, when that happens, because they're both the same roots, in this case they're both third roots or cube roots, we can multiply the radicands, what's inside the radical houses, and leave the result inside a cube root. They're both in cube roots, their answer will be in a cube root. So 6 times 12 is 72. We've got the cube root of 72. Now this problem is not done because we can simplify it. There is a perfect cube factor of 72. It's 8. 8 is a perfect cube. It's 2 cubed. And 8 is a factor of 72. So we have to keep going. Split this into the cube root of 8. That's a perfect cube right here. And the cube root of 9 is leftovers. And we get 2 cube root of 9. That's all we can do with that. That is the simplified answer to that cube root problem. A cube root times a cube root. But what do we do when we have different types of roots? I have one problem written two different ways. So for now, let's focus on the left-hand side. I'll come back and show you the right-hand side in a moment. We've got the cube root of 9 divided by the square root of 3. So we don't have the same roots on the outside. What do? We'll follow these steps. First, let's rewrite the radicals in exponent form. And we'll use fractions for exponents if we have to. So the cube root of 9 is 9 to the 1/3 power. The square root of 3 is 3 to the 1/2 power. And that's what we've got right here. Cube root of 9, 1/3 power, square root of 3, 1/2 power. Now we want to make sure the bases are the same number. And if they aren't, we're going to take some action to make them be the same number. Our bases are not the same. A 9 and a 3, those are not the same. Here's the big question to ask. Are they powers of the same number? Is there a number that when you keep raising it to a power is going to hit both 3 and 9? They are both powers of 3. 3 is 3 to the first power, and 9 is 3 squared. So we need to rewrite this just using 3's. 9 is 3 squared. So where there used to be a 9 to the 1/3 power, now we have 3 squared to the 1/3 power. Well, there is no change to make here. 3 is already 3. We've got to then take a power to a power. This is now 3 to the 2/3 power divided by 3 to the 1/2 power. Now we've got the same bases. We'll multiply or divide following our exponent rules. Well, we've got a division symbol here, and since we're dividing, we have to subtract the exponents. So it's going to be 3 to the 2/3 minus 1/2 power. We'll have to get a common denominator here. It'll be 6. So it's really 3 to the 4th 6 minus the 3/6 power, and that gives us 3 to the 1/6 power. Our last step is to check to see if our answer is supposed to be in exponential form or radical form. In exponential form, this is done. But in radical form, we realize this would be the 6th root of 3. So whatever form we need, that's the answer we will write. Check on your homework assignment. It may just want radical form, or maybe it wants exponential form. Let's check out the same problem written as a fraction. The cube root of 9 over the square root of 3 means the same thing as the cube root of 9 divided by the square root of 3. But you might do all your action inside a fraction. So on step 1, rewriting the radicals in exponent form, 9 to the 1/3, 3 to the 1/2, those are done inside of a fraction. Step 2, make sure the bases are the same number. You'll recall we determined that 3 would be a great base to use. So this 9 needs to turn into a 3 squared. This 3 can stay the same. So 3 squared to the 1/3 power, that's got to turn into 3 to the 2/3 power. So we have 3 to the 2/3 power over 3 to the 1/2 power. We have to realize that fractions are division problems. So we have to subtract these exponents. And that takes us to the same place we were previously. 3 to the 2/3 power minus the 1/2 power. And that's going to get us eventually to the same answers we had, depending on if the answer would need to be in exponential form or radical form. Here's the multiplication problem. Wow, it looks tough. The 10th root of 32 times the 6th root of 4. We're going to follow the same steps. Step 1, rewrite these radicals in exponent form, using fractions if necessary. Well, a 10th root is the 1/10 power, and an 8th root is the 1/8 power. So that's how we'll rewrite these. Next, Make sure the bases are the same number. Uh-oh, they're not. We've got a 4 and a 32, so we have to take some kind of action and start by asking ourselves, are they powers of the same number? Is there a number that when you keep multiplying it by itself will hit 4 and 32? It won't be 4. 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 is 64. It misses 32. It's smaller than 4. It's 2. 2 to the second power is 4. Times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. So 2 to the fifth power is 32. We will rewrite both of these bases as powers of 2. 32 is 2 to the fifth power, 4 is 2 squared. Then we'll follow our power to a power rules and multiply these exponents and get 2 to the 5/10 power times 2 to the 2/8 power. We'll reduce those, and now 2 to the 1/2 power times 2 to the 1/4 power. We've got the same bases. We're multiplying here, and when we multiply, we have to add the exponents. So we have to add 1/2 and 2/4. It's 2 to the 1/2 plus 1/4 power. We're going to have to get a common denominator. It's going to need to be 4. This will have to change to 2/4. And that's going to take us to 2 to the 3/4 power. Then we check to see if our answer is supposed to be in exponential form or radical form. In exponential form, this one's done, but there's a little more work in radical form. There it is in exponential form, all set. Actually, there is a little more we could do with that, as you'll see. We could, on radical form, we have the fourth root of 2 to the third power. That is going to be the fourth root of 8. And truthfully, over here, we should probably take this 2 to the third power and make it 8 to the 1/4 power. That would be a better answer than 2 to the 3/4 power. On your homework tonight, I believe all of the answers are supposed to be in radical form.